Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about this is Faith saying that they were not winning anymore. That is Prithvi and Nagre. So the two of them decided to get Preeta arrested using fake police, which means they kidnapped Preeta. So let's continue from there. Preeta was being taken in the police van. She was thinking that she provoked Nagre and she was angry at him. Their police van was stopped at a checkpost. The driver took a reverse and they were being followed by the real police. Preeta understands that the police that Prithvi got her arrested with are fake police. At home, Karan asks that why would Preeta murder anyone. Prithvi intervenes that Preeta might know the reason, but Preeta killed her own daughter and she can kill anyone. There was a fight between Prithvi and Karan. Prithvi provokes Karan by saying that Preeta brought his whole family to destruction. There was an exchange of punches between Karan and Prithvi. Karan grabbed Prithvi's collar, shouting that everyone knows what Preeta has done. Raki shouted at them to stop all this. Preeta did not attempt to kill Nagre at all. Karan was determined to bring Preeta back home. Karina takes Karan inside. Prithvi shouted from behind that Karan is crazy after Preeta and he has saved every one of them and they must abide by his rules if they want to live here. Kritika comes to see Prithvi's hand bleeding and she offers to put a bandage. Preeta asks the police drivers to stop the car. She had realized that she was being kidnapped. The driver tries to shut her up. Preeta asks them to let her go. If they let her go, then she will not tell anyone about them. The driver now speaks up that Preeta speaks a lot and Preeta must have chewed Nagre's brain in the same manner. Preeta understands that they are Nagre's men and not police officers. The jeep put brakes and the police bike was hit. The jeep was able to escape in the forest. Preeta calls for help, but her hand was handcuffed. Karina follows Karan into the room and requests Karan to apply bandage on his wound. Karan did not want to hear anything. Karina complains that in this house, only Karan, Preeta and Prithvi can speak. Karan turns to Karina that Prithvi is a liar and so is his lawyer Nagre. Karina asks that why is Karan fighting with people like Prithvi? Karan never thinks about anyone else except his so-called beloved wife. She and Raki cry that Rishabh also left. Now they cannot afford to lose Karan. Prithvi misbehaves with them all and Karan is a ray of hope for their entire family. Karan asks Karina and says that he will not fight with Prithvi, but he would also not be enslaved by him. Samir brings the first aid box in their room. Kritika applies the medicine, warning Prithvi that it might burn a little, and she cleans the bruises on his hand. Prithvi thinks silently that he wants Kritika and everyone from their family on his side now. Kritika thinks that she stood by Preeta, so Prithvi will not speak to her politely. Prithvi thanks Kritika before she leaves. Then Prithvi asks Shailin to come outside. Shailin was about to leave the room silently, but Prithvi warns Shailin that they will not close the doors anymore. And Shailin doesn't need to be afraid of anyone in this house. And because she is Shailin, then she should realize her worth and he requests her for her support. Preeta was still in the fake police car. The kidnappers wait in a clearing of the forest. The kidnappers decide to kill Preeta and he pulls the trigger of the gun pointing towards Preeta, but Preeta bends down. The kidnapper gets a call from Prithvi and he tells them to get away. He does not want anyone to know that Preeta's death was not an accident. Preeta thinks that she knows that the fake police were doing this for money and she promised to pay them more than what Nagre had offered them. Prithvi gives the news of Preeta's death to Shailin and the kidnappers drive the jeep back. Preeta keeps on pleading with them to let her go. She has a family who are waiting for her. The kidnapper says that it is too late and they continue to drive. At one point, they apply the brake to the car and they get off. The three of them pushes the jeep down the cliff. At home, Karan felt strange. The police car has crashed against the tree. Preeta is unconscious in the car and the police personnel comes in a worrying state. They, after taking the photos of Preeta, they sent it to one of them and asked the boss to leave as soon as possible since there is a lot of smoke and the car might blast really soon. Just as he was about to leave, Prithvi calls the fake police officer and says that he has seen the photos, but also he wants to view the live telecast, and the officer asks if Prithvi is not satisfied, but Prithvi explains that he is restless, and after seeing Preeta unconscious, Prithvi says that Preeta said that she is going to come back, but now Preeta has died and she will not return. Prithvi once again orders them to check Preeta's pulse and be sure that Preeta is dead. One of the constables says that Preeta has died. However, Prithvi orders them to go inside the car. Just as when they were about to check the car started sparking, so they all run to a safe distance. Prithvi asks if they are sure that Preeta is dead, and they assured him that Preeta has faced a fate worse than death, and now the car will blast soon. Karan is working in the hall. Samir comes in, asks that what has happened. Karan replies that he doesn't feel that it is true, since they all know that Preeta is not capable of it all. Karan says that even if they have problem among them, yet Preeta cannot do anything wrong with them. Karan says that he is sure that this is the mind of Nagre, so he is going to the police station. Shailin hears them both talking, and she rushes to Prithvi, saying that Karan has gone to bring Preeta, and if Karan finds out that the police was not real, Prithvi would be the one to be suspected. Prithvi says that he feels that every time a wife has disappeared, then the blame is put on the husband, so Preeta's death blame will be put on Karan, as this has happened in their country many times. However, Shailin says that it doesn't make any sense, and Prithvi replies that in this house, there are two enemies. On one side is the Lutras, and the others consist of them. Prithvi asks Shailin if she has ever heard of a crime of passion. Shailin asks that what does Prithvi mean when Prithvi is the one who will gain the most, as Nagre made the call, and Prithvi asks Shailin that why does Shailin think that they did not make the call, since he asked the police not to come acting as Karan Lutra. Prithvi explains that now, everyone will blame Karan that Karan stopped the real police from coming, and then they brought the fake police who arrested Preeta. Shailin says that the twist is good, and she says that Prithvi has become the god of mischief, and Prithvi advised Shailin to go and get ready, as a lot of the big names in the business community are coming. Prithvi asks if Shailin wants to see the face of dead Preeta, and Shailin smiles after seeing Preeta unconscious in the car on Prithvi's phone. Preeta in the car starts to wake up thinking about when Prithvi says that it is nice if Mahesh Lutra is alive, since then he will remain the owner of the house. Preeta also recalls how Mahesh asks for her help, and she suddenly wakes up, and Preeta thinks of how the inspector ran away from the car. She calls Karan for help. Karan reaches the police station with Samir, informing the police inspector that he wants to talk with Preeta while his lawyer team are on the way. Karan says that Preeta's lawyer would complete the formalities. However, the inspector asks if Karan will let him speak, saying that ever since he came on duty, they have not arrested anyone, but he doesn't know about the inspector who was on duty before him. Karan is shocked. The inspector tries to call his predecessor, however, he doesn't attend to the call, and he asks Karan if he could inform about the inspector who came into their house. However, Karan explains that he was not present in the house at the time of the arrest. Karan tries to call his family, but they do not answer, and he gets worried. Prithvi calls Nagre, who is preparing a drink, and Prithvi asks if Nagre knows what has happened, and Nagre congratulates Prithvi, saying that he knew from the tone of Prithvi about what has happened. Nagre explains that Prithvi was really tensed when Preeta was around him, but now he is acting like a lion. However, Prithvi explains that Preeta is no more, but Nagre says that he can feel even her presence now, so Prithvi should not be so calm. Prithvi wants Nagre to stop this talk about Preeta and come to the party, as they need to celebrate. However, Nagre refused to come, saying that he is not feeling well. Preeta hears something hissing near the van, so she thinks of Karan. However, she is shocked to see a snake come into the car. Preeta, getting scared, prays to Lord Shiva that her life should be spared, since she needs to protect a lot of lives, and she closes her eyes, so the snake after some time leaves. Preeta breathes a sign of relief, and she thinks that she needs to get out of this van since the smoke starts increasing. Preeta is constantly pulling the handcuff, which end up coming off the bar as it breaks. Preeta immediately walks out of the car, and the car immediately blasts in flames. Karan is constantly trying to call his family. Samir notices how the inspector is noticing Karan, so he tries to take him away. However, the inspector asks that how did Karan met with Preeta the last time. Karan honestly explains that he was really angry since Preeta blamed him for not being able to run the business. Samir tries to take Karan's side, saying that it was just a normal fight like between a couple. Karan replies that he was really angry. The inspector says that Karan was so angry that he could even kill anyone, and he explains that ever since Karan came to the police station, he is insisting that Preeta has been arrested, but when he finally talked with his colleague, he explains that they have not made any arrest today. The inspector started blaming Karan for being the reason that Preeta is missing. Hearing this, Karan gets shocked and he asks that what does the inspector mean? Mahesh Luthra is sitting in the bed while being chained. Prithvi enters the room and slowly picking the jug, he throws the water on Mahesh Luthra's face. Mahesh immediately started requesting them not to throw him into the water because he doesn't know how to swim. Prithvi wipes off the water from his face, thanking him for all that he has done. Karan in anger stands up and the inspector says that there is possibility that Karan might have been the one behind the arrest since he has not been able to contact his mother. Karan says that the inspector would have seen a lot of cases, but he doesn't know the relationship that he has with Preeta and that Preeta has been arrested on the charges of attempting to murder advocate Nagre, and the inspector is shocked after hearing the name of Nagre, and Karan replies that they told him the truth. Samru explains that they thought that the police would know the truth. The inspector stands up. Karan asks that what about Preeta and where is he going to, and the inspector explains that they need to arrest Nagre. Samru says that Nagre is coming to their house for the party, so the police can arrest him there. Karan doesn't understand what is going on. The inspector informs him that if Nagre is involved in Preeta's kidnapping, then a lot of things can happen which they have not even thought of. Hearing this, Karan gets really worried. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.